Hey guys, welcome to PHENOMSOUND. Right before we get to the video, I just found a really funny thing. There are 4,000 subscribers on PHENOMSOUND YouTube channel, but on my Instagram page there's only 250 people or something like this. So let's fix that and follow my Instagram page. I would be really happy to see you there. If you have seen some of my previous tutorials, you probably may know that I'm a big fan of serum delay fix. I'm using it on the most of my basses, and not only basses but even the drum samples and other stuff to give more space to the sound, to add this nice metallic tail. I'm using it with the really short delay time. And finally I got in my hands the actual professional plugin that does pretty much the same effect, but it's really much more advanced. And it's a brand new granular delay fix called Meta. It can do really crazy things to the sounds and can be used in so much different ways. And let's take a closer look at it. So when we combine these two words, granular and delay, together, we imagine something really complex. And by something complex, I imagine color bass. So let's take a look at how this plugin can help you with your color bass sound design. Check this demo that I just made. Okay, so here's the sound that I want to show you. Dry, it sounds like this. So as you can hear, it's a really simple stabby serum patch. I've created a little progression with it and low cut it using the EQ. And here goes the Meta. Let me give you a quick walkthrough on its UI. So here we have the granular engine. You can control the dry wet position of it. Also, there is a really amazing trick. You can control the pitch of it. So let's say you want to add some harmonies to the sound. You're setting the granular engine somewhere at around 50, setting the pitch at 7, and you're having the 7th note. If you set it to 100, you can only hear the granular output of the 7th note, but if you set the dry wet position at 50, it will merge with the original melody of this sound and create the harmonies, which is awesome. Sounding really cheerful. Or you can set the dry wet position at 100 and manipulate the intensity of the effect using this sequencer, like this. You can play with the speed of this sequencer. So this is our original pitch, but in this sound I've set it to 1 octave down, which is -12. Here you can also control the shape of the granular effect, its speed, to make it more loose or smooth. So this controller over here stretches the grain length or shrinks it. And set the granular engine dry wet position at around 45. It gave us a bit laserish, loosey effect on the sound, make it more detuned, complex and moving, which is just perfect to make it complex. Let's smooth it out a bit using the delay effect. So this delay effect is really similar to the serum effect that I like to use a lot. You can link it to the BPM of the project or unlink it over here. So I'm setting the left and right time somewhere around 10 milliseconds or 50 milliseconds. And this is the gator effect that creates this gating rhythm. And this amazing controller for the feedback. By the way, this delay makes the sound so wide, and here you can control the width of the sound using this analyzer. So with this really crazy amount of feedback, you can get really amazing experimental sounds. Then you can use them for your further post-processing and create just crazy sound design ideas. And this is the dry wet controller of the plugin. And then when I'm satisfied with the result, I'm cleaning up the mess. Using the EQ, adding a slight touch of the pitch map. Note that in most color-based sounds, the pitch map has the probably 90% of influence of the sound, while in this case, it's really minimal. Check this out. It adds this really slight tonal vibe to the sound, adding a bit more colors, but the main game changer of this sound is the matter, of course. So after this, I'm smoothing up a bit with another matter instance with a tiny granular and little delay effect. So I've pointed out these every 4-bar steps over here. All of the rest is looking like this. By the way, you can hold the control and drag the envelope inside of this sequencer, which is really awesome. So yeah, this instance of matter is making everything much more smoother. And finally, I have the limiter. So let's once again check the difference between the dry and wet version of the sound. Okay, let's find another more extraordinary task for the matter. Here I have the simple square wave synth with one simple automation. 2 square oscillators, the second one is with the 7th node and the slight effemin from B. No additional fixes, nothing at all. And here's the matter effect. So I've put the OTT and the saturator on the sound and some EQ, but it's the matter that has the 99% of the impact on the sounding of this square wave synth, which can be done within 5 seconds. So I've used the granular engine here and the delay, both set at 50%. You see that this square synth is very repetitive. It sounds really boring, and by using this granular engine, you are adding a slight detune, more movement to the sound. It turns from a really boring, repetitive sound to a more organic, which is the exact component of the professional sound design. Make everything sound organic. So here's my setup. I've set the maximum grain size to make the sound really smooth. Basically, all we are having here is just some movement and detune. Also, I've made this kind of sequencer setup, which gives the biggest effect on the sound on each 4 steps. And as it goes to the end of the bar, the effect fades out. Then I'm adding the delay effect with the synchronized BPM. The left and right channels have different rate speeds to add really nice stereo movement in your audio system. And the feedback is really huge. And since I'm using really huge feedback and delay effect is really intensive, this sound is extremely wide, so I'm reducing its width a bit. And also making it 65 or 70% dry in this FL Studio controller. So that we could hear the original sounds a little bit as well. And once again, this is how it's sounding in the mix. And this second sound, it's really just crazy simple. I've used one simple wavetable automation. There goes the matter. We add in the movement, add in the space, and we have a really lazy sound design within 1 minute or something like this. And by the way, I've used this plugin not only for the bass sounds, but for the drums samples as well. Check this out. I've changed the pitch of the granular effect to -5, so originally it would sound like this. I've made a really tiny grain size and added the delay effect. To add this rhythmic effect to the clap and made it really wide. Really makes the whole mix really wide and much more interesting than just a bare clap. Awesome, so we've made a really nice rhythm bass using just a simple square wave. And let's go ahead and try applying this plugin to the saw wave. All I have here is the simple default wavetable on Serum. And there you go, it's an amazing sound that has so much harmony and movement on it. Sounds really natural and organic. And check how it's done. I'm adding the harmonies by setting the pitch to 7 to add this 7th extra note. So this is just a pure grain effect. There goes the harmony, but I'm achieving this kind of harmony, keeping the original tonality of the sound by playing with this sequencer. If I set this all the way up, the only thing that's audible is this 7th note. You can also set the grain engine effect to 50 to keep the original sounding and add this extra 7th note, but I prefer making it more powerful and moving by creating this type of sequencer setup, and there we go. So it's more wobbly, and that's really cool. And there's a huge delay effect that makes this sound really wide and smoothing it out a bit. I'm setting the huge feedback. And if we EQ it like this, let me show you another cool use for this plugin. So I've totally changed the sounding of the percussions. Let me disable the basses and let's check the version of this rhythm without the matter effect. check this out. From this ridiculous sound, we are getting something really awesome sounding. Really fat drums. It's like you put lots of distortion and compression on it and low pitched it, but in fact it's just a granular engine and a tiny delay effect. The thing that makes the huge difference is this pitch settings. Check this out. That's the original pitch. I'm setting it to -5, setting the grain speed at 14 milliseconds and the grain size almost all the way up, and setting up the sequencer like this to make it all wobbly and stuff. And there's a tiny delay effect that does a huge amount of job on making this sound really cool. So you see, the use of this plugin is only limited by your imagination and your creativity. And I've showed you just a couple of the millions ways of using the meta. I'm truly amazed by this plugin, and I can totally say that now it's breaking in my top 5 plugins that I'm gonna use in my daily music production process in probably most of my sounds and in every project. Plus, a really huge advantage of this plugin is that it's really cheap compared to other $100 or $200 plugin. You can visit the developer's page. The link is in the description of this video and get this plugin right there. I totally recommend it to you. Doesn't matter if you're a color bass, Nero, or dubstep producer. It's a really must-have plugin for all of you guys. Of course, all of the FL Studio projects that you've heard in this video are available on my Patreon page, as well as all of the serum presets and samples from those. So go ahead and check my Patreon page, the link is in the description as well. You'll find lots of useful music production content there. And thank you so much for watching this video. Hit like, subscribe to PHENOMSOUND, and leave a comment. This really helping our community to grow and to bring the knowledge to other talented music producers out there. Hope you really enjoyed this video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye!